Hello, Jonathan Casey here with Mercury's Messenger. Here to do part two of Our Heartbreaks, a video covering the years of 2024 to 2026. The first video, part one, was a theoretical aspect on how I'm trying to explain how I feel we are going to walk into a new dimension, one more metaphysical, where alchemy and reality is more pliable. So part one is describing my theory. This is largely about letting go of what? Pisces. Pisces is a water sign, it is emotion, and it is the dream, the illusion. So letting go of the physical illusion and stepping up and evolving Aquarius into air, more light, metaphysical kind of reality. Okay, so I talk on how I believe the golden age a long time ago was like this, and through science and fear, language, and all that, we have densified reality. But we are at a point in consciousness that we are understanding that everything, the fabric that is reality, is conscious, is our perception. And so once we can start perceiving above this, we can move past this. And how can we move past this? Is by letting go of the things that are breaking our heart. Something that I posted on my wall, which I'll read again, is: our hearts will break to the point of no emotion, where we will feel dead inside. This will be the tipping point, a catalyst of imagination, where we dream our new reality. Love will be the only thing to fill our empty dark void with new light. Do not let the horrors of this world change you. You are here to change the world. Okay, so yeah, I'm just kind of saying that, and I hope you guys aren't taking this as being heartless. I care. I care so much that I want to elevate us, bring us up to greater potential, to a higher realm of existence, and it's all about letting go. It's about letting that heart break. But as I said in that quote about dreaming a new existence, we have to, and Pisces started with Jesus sacrificing himself for us. Whether you believe in Jesus or not, I look at it as Zeus, Jupiter, honoring Jupiter, expanding, just kind of thing, and but nonetheless a sacrifice, a letting go of the emotions that tie us to the physical reality. Now, I'm not saying that the body is not important. I'm saying that the body is our perception. It all is spirit, and so the body comes with us, but in a metaphysical kind of sense, one where we could live much, much longer, where disease will be healed just by the powers of the mind. Okay, so anyhow, let's talk more about the astrology in this video, then continuing to cover the stuff that I covered in the first video. So if you haven't watched that video, I recommend you to watch it. But if not, I'll try and kind of keep it clear on the theory I'm trying to get across in this video. Okay, so I'm covering 2024 to 2026. The reason why I'm covering that is because currently we're going through some fires in Australia and pending war in Iran, just heartbreaking stuff. And that has a lot to do with the Pluto Saturn conjunction, as well as Uranus, who's stationing at the beginning of Taurus, stationing and just stationing. He's going direct, but this there's whatever, let's just get into this video here. So I have us on January 1st. I brought us to January 1st because this is going to be the energies of the year. Now, really, I should bring us back to the solstice, but traditionally, we celebrate, for the most part in America and the Western world, celebrates January 1st as the new year. And at the new year here we have Pluto at the last degrees of Capricorn. Okay, so this is the energy of the year. It's finishing up its transformation in Capricorn. Capricorn is about government, about traditions, about our structure, and Pluto moves into Aquarius and back into Capricorn this year, and then back into Aquarius by the end of the year. There is also during eclipse season, the full moon eclipse the eclipse might have started in I'm at the wrong sign there. This is Scorpio. I believe the full moon's the new moon started in Aries. I can't remember if Aries was the eclipse or Scorpio was. We'll get to that, but it is in square to Pluto, and Pluto rules Scorpio. So there, the energies for deep transformation are strong. The basically, this is the point of ending old traditions and transforming new traditions in this golden era of Aquarius. Okay, there's a lot of things going on, more so in 2025, but you see, no, they're not in trine yet. I was thinking they might be. You see, it's working closely where Pluto and Uranus and Neptune will make this triangle soon. So Uranus and Pluto will be trining each other while in sextile to Neptune. This energy will carry on for a long time, especially between Pluto and Neptune, because they move closer to the same speed, but these three are the slowest moving planets. Following that is Saturn, and Saturn actually will catch up to Neptune in the biggest part of the video that I'm covering in August, September of 2025. So let's get back to where I am. So the energy on January 1st is that which is carrying through the year. On the 21st, I believe, of January is when Pluto moves into Aquarius, conjunct the Sun. Okay, so the Sun arrives there just before, but transited over Pluto, bringing this energy to light in Aquarius. Okay, and here I believe we start to see that sextile. Okay, so the next date that I have written is April 8th, and this is so in 2017 we had what was called the Great American Eclipse, and it crossed over the states from northwestern side of the states down to the southern eastern side. And this eclipse happening now on April 8th is going the opposite way, is going from the northeastern side of the states down to the southern western side, making basically, but if you put a line of the two eclipses, they're making an X right on, covering right over America. And so this eclipse, April 8th, is in Aries, and it is at probably around 15 degrees Aries. So the full moon of that eclipse is most likely going to be in Scorpio. Yep, in Scorpio. And yeah, so here is where it is in trine to Pluto. Okay, so that eclipse has a lot to do with the Pluto transformative energy, because that eclipse was the beginning of a moon cycle where the full moon is in Scorpio, and Pluto rules Scorpio, and Pluto is in aspect to the full moon part of this eclipse. Okay, Pluto, as I said, is about death and rebirth, about transformation. Okay, and so is Scorpio. So we're feeling this transformation big time, and with the moon feels it, right? And the eclipse was in Aries, so it's a beginning. You know, this marks a beginning point. We may view it as an ending, and that's what death kind of is in one sense it's an ending, but in another way it's a beginning. So that's what's going on here. There is a death and a rebirth happening during that eclipse in April of 2024. Now, next we'll move to September 1st. Oops. Let's go back. That, and then go days. September 1st, Pluto. Oops, I went one day too far. Pluto on September 1st has retrograded back into Capricorn. So here we are still working out, like I said, it's this year Pluto was at the last degree of Capricorn. This year is that transformative year where he goes and takes one last stay in Capricorn, really, because we can't just, everything can't just, like, our entire structure can't just fall at all in one go. And when I say structure, I mean more than our government and financial structures and stuff like that. This is traditions too, you know, like long-lived traditions, which have helped us survive through centuries and millennia, you know. So Saturn, Pluto is going and doing one last cleanup of that aspect here on September 1st, which is 9/1, right? And then I should have saved that 9/1 number for after, because on the 11th of November is when he actually re-enters Aquarius. So 11/19, and I don't want. To me, the number means hope or fear. It's a choice, and it's about finding our center, coming back to ourselves, okay? Because what is the center of 9/11? It's 10, and 10 is the number that has been referred to as God. It's a 1 and a 0. To me, that's the binary code of the matrix. And I am Mercury, ruled by Mercury, who is number 5. So what is half of 10 is 5. 5 is how we express ourselves, and so to me, the number 9/1 or variations of that is about coming back to our center and how we express ourselves. Do we express ourselves in a way of fear, or do we express ourselves in a way of hope and love? Okay, so on the 17th and on October 7th, we have eclipses during this time. So here we are on the 1st. So this moon cycle that is about to start in Virgo, the eclipse will be in Pisces, and then there's another eclipse right after that, which would be in Libra, with the full moon in Aries. Anyhow, I haven't really dove into this eclipse season a whole lot, but Pluto is in Capricorn in that eclipse season. That whole eclipse season, Pluto is going to be in Capricorn, finishing up his stay. So on November 19th, like I was saying, November 19th, Pluto then returns back into Aquarius. And I don't believe he ever, in 248 years or whatever, something like that, he ends up back in Capricorn, but not for a very long time from now. There's not a whole lot I wanted to talk about on this date, but now is where I start getting into a little bit more of the interesting aspects. So that was 2019 for us. 2019. It's because I have that 19 number in my mind, and we just finished 2019. We're 2020 now, but I'm talking about the year 2024, and 2024 is a death and rebirth year, a major transformative year. And I feel like really that transformation is really kicking off now with the Pluto-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn. Okay, so now I want to move to March 1st. March 1st, Venus goes retrograde. And I feel this important to bring up because it's a really interesting Venus retrograde, for one. And two, Jesus went into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights to speak with the devil or something along those lines. Moses went on the mountain, was it Moses? And spoke to God for 40 days and 40 nights. The great floods that Noah went through was 40 days and 40 nights of rain. And so they're all talking about, to me, Venus retrograde, because Venus retrograde is 40 days, 40 nights. And Venus is retrograding in the sign of Aries, okay? So this is our values and what desires, what new values do we desire? Okay, so she's gonna go and cross over the moon, and here again we're in eclipse season. Okay, March 14th is the full moon eclipse in Virgo. Details, and this moon cycle here started in Pisces. So the details about the dream, that we've been living or that we want to create, and Venus is reassessing our desires, and she crosses over the moon. So I just want to point out, even before I go further, is Neptune here is at those final degrees of Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces, and Mercury is conjunct Neptune at this time. Mercury moves fast, and here it doesn't show Venus at retrograde, but if you look here, she's stopped. She's stationed at this point. Okay, and so she's this the new values that we desire. She's feeling them out as she backs up over the moon, and the moon really moves up to her really quick. What is conjunct the moon there? Oh, that Venus is conjunct the moon. So she actually stations conjunct the moon. So yeah, she's feeling the new values that she desires, and she backs up. First, she'll meet up with Mercury because Mercury moves fast. So here we go. Mercury is at 2, Venus is at 10. Mercury, I believe, ends up in retrograde in this cycle as well. So here on March 11th, 311, Mercury meets up with Venus. So Mercury's really making it clear on the expressing or showing us in reflection these new values that we desire. And Neptune, by the way, is still in Pisces. So so Mercury had gone from Neptune, dreaming, bringing, that, because this is also kind of like about prison, self-undoing, illusion, delusion, but also how we serve ourselves. Okay, Virgo, which is the opposing sign, is how we are of service to others, and this is how we serve ourselves, is how I see it. And so Mercury was really bringing that information, how we're serving ourselves, and connecting with value, so we can learn how to serve ourselves in a better way, breaking that that self-undoing prison. Now, where is Neptune? Where is Venus? Okay, now Mercury stations at 9 degrees of Aries. Venus is at 6 degrees right now. We just had the eclipse just 2 days prior. That eclipse, where was that eclipse? The sun was in conjunct, but not a perfect conjunction, so I'm not really going to talk about it too much. Where is Neptune now? Has Neptune moved? Nope. I think it's maybe not until the 30th of this month. So Venus now at 0 degrees, and they're like they're within a degree, but on the cusp. One's on one side, Aries, and the other's in Pisces. And Mercury's catching up really quick. Mercury's back at 2 degrees. So here, Venus and Neptune are perfectly conjunct on the 27th of March, and now Mercury's the one on the other side of the cusp in conjunction. The sun, by the way, traveled through this pack, bringing light to the energies of Venus, Mercury, and look at the moon has come back around for another eclipse in Aries at the final degree of Aries on the 29th. So here we have Mercury at 0 degrees, Neptune at 29, Venus at 28, and I believe it's the next day Neptune is now at 0 degrees of Aries, and Mercury has transited over and back into Pisces. So they kind of switched places. I guess Mercury here is reviewing this dream, reviewing how we've been self-sabotaging ourselves, because Neptune is now Aries is associated with our ego, so dreaming a new self. This is, to me, a very cleansing aspect of our ego, and Mercury has now caught back up to Venus. One more day, and there are probably 2 more days, a couple of days. Venus is fairly quick moving herself. So April 13th, where Venus turns direct. Mercury here stations at 26. So Mercury never quite catches back up to Venus. He comes close, but doesn't perfect it. And but Mercury nonetheless will catch back up to Neptune. Here we go. Venus is now stationed, and Venus, I believe, is conjunct Saturn. Yes, she retrograded over Saturn. So that's right at the end of her retrograde too. Saturn associated with the devil, really the karmic reaper. You reap what you sow. So coming and Saturn also rules our structures and our boundaries, our limits, and so Venus is coming to check back up with Saturn in Pisces, which Pisces is the age that we're kind of leaving here, and so this is checking in with the wall that separates the age, bringing in new values, new karma. And so I don't really need to, I guess, show Mercury. Oh, because Mercury, actually I kind of do want to see Mercury. Mercury catches back up to Neptune on April 16th. Venus is direct, still conjunct Saturn at this point. The sun is still in Aries. Okay. Yeah, so there wasn't much more I wanted to talk about there, but that Venus crossing over aspecting these planets during eclipses is a powerful time. And then where we're moving to now, basically, I'm just gonna. There's one day that I wanted to point out, but the next big aspect that I wanted to talk about was the following eclipse season in 2025. So on July 6th here, Uranus enters Gemini, and Uranus is conjunct Venus. I feel like that's something I forgot to mention, that Venus was sextile Uranus in her retrograde, and now comes and meets up with Uranus. Uranus brings change, and usually shocking, quick change, electric, so and rules energy. So Venus, these new values that we've gathered, moved forward and brought them to be charged up and changed with Uranus, who now is moving into the air sign of Gemini. Uranus ruling Aquarius, where Pluto is, and in trine. And look at this, Saturn and Neptune are conjunct at the beginning of Aries. So they're all at the beginning of the signs, but even more so because Pluto's in retrograde, Neptune's in retrograde, Saturn, I believe, goes retrograde as well. And because end of August and September, they are all at the 1 degree mark of these new signs. Let's go to that time so I can describe more what I want to talk about. So the 23rd. So we have eclipse. We're in eclipse season here. See the new moon. The moon just crossed over the sun at 1 degree, actually at 0 degrees of Virgo, the Virgin. Okay, and the next new moon will be at the last degrees of Virgo, the Virgin. And where are the full moons? And the first eclipse is in Pisces, but nonetheless, this new moon is starting off that moon cycle that the eclipse in Pisces is in. So from the beginning is the end, Pisces. Then from the beginning again is, from the Virgin is the end. From the Virgin is the beginning. Somewhere that is that has to do with some kind of Christian text, maybe coming directly out of the Bible. I'd imagine so. And it kind of, to me, describes the story of Jesus. Now, there's some cool patterns that I'm going to show you shortly. But what else did I want to talk about? So yeah, during this eclipse season, where from the Virgin is the end, from the Virgin is the beginning, we have the slow-moving planets, Pluto and Neptune being the two slowest, then Uranus and Saturn, all at either 0 or 1 degree, while the eclipses in Virgo was at 0 degrees, and even the eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo is in a 1 degree orb of this as well. I don't think the full moon 15 degrees. So no, the is not in. But nonetheless, the two new moons, which start the lunar cycles, are going to be in aspects with all the slow moving planets who are all in aspect, in beautiful aspects with each other, okay? And that moon is going to really be carrying some energy in. So let's go to September 7th, I guess. I feel like I have too much stuff showing aspects in the screen. I might be missing some things that I wanted to show. Maybe not. Okay, see this kite? Okay, so the moon is involved in this kite. The sun, how did that work? It was oh, you see anyhow up here, there's kind of like a five-pointed star at the top of this kite. We have Venus at 16 and Mars at 20. We have Jupiter and Lilith making aspects in a grand trine. And that energy carries over. So, how did that work again? It was a while ago. I've done more than one video on this. This one here, I'm really getting deeper into it. So here we are on the 21st on that new moon again, and look at this now. Hey, trines this way, trines that way. Venus and Venus and Mars. They're still in aspect at Titan, but Venus moves so quick that she passed because she was at 20 and he was at 26, and now he's at 29 and she's at 3. But I'm just sorry if this part's a little bit confusing. There was something I was looking for, and I feel like I'm not going to see it because I have too much lines showing in this area. When I think when I looked at this last time, I had some of these bodies, or maybe just the nodes, and not showing their lines. So, what date do I want? October 2nd. I think maybe what I was trying to show maybe was the sun. Something I felt really like ignited this here somewhere. Why did I want October 2nd? No, it's October 6th I want. So October 6th, we have the full moon here in Aries. The kite is still happening. These guys are still all at, 0. Saturn, well, Saturn retrograded during this period, but nonetheless started at 1 degree. And so how I'm going to read that is basically, so Pluto transforming, bringing us into a new beginning in Aquarius, while Saturn, reality or structure, form, karma, is making the dream, a new dream, Aries new Neptune dream real. Okay, and Uranus here is in Gemini is really about innovation, technology advancements, or just higher perception. I also feel like I talked about this possibly being a pole shift, and that's kind of why I was talking about the Venus retrograde uh, earlier as well, because Gemini is duality, right? A split, Uranus creating a shocking split possibly in our reality that is, you know, Pluto bringing change, Uranus ruling Aquarius, so that change has a deep transformative death rebirth aspect to it, and both of those are in sextile, exciting this uh, this real new dream kind of thing during that eclipse season, right? From the Virgin is the end, from the Virgin is the beginning aspect of the flavor uh, of the time. Uh, or this might be the flavor, the spices. Either way, it's making one hell of a soup. Okay, so from there, then November 7th, Uranus goes retrograde, and then it's not until April 25th, which is following Easter, basically, of 2026, where Uranus now comes into Gemini and stays there. So, Uranus might be going back to get the bullheaded people, collect them, and bring the ones who haven't been able to move forward yet. Who knows how this is going to really manifest. I feel like the split basically is the elite basically who are building tunnels and who have been hiding in the shadows, holding on to the dense reality, are going to kind of stay in the third. They're going to be the Noah in a way, in their caverns in Oz, Matrix, Ark, the boat that brings us to the new age in a physical form. Just creating maybe what's the word I want to use? Like a new evolved body for us to for our spirit to re-manifest into yet a higher consciousness, which this body being a higher breed of human. Yeah. So Uranus, okay, in Aries had that Fukushima. Then when he came into Taurus, we had the volcanoes in Hawaii, and those volcanoes hit a power plant. Uranus ruling power, right? And Taurus is about Earth changes. So there's a lot like the fires in Australia, earthquakes, tsunamis, all that kind of stuff, pollution. But he moves into Gemini, which is an air sign, and it's about environment. And so that's where I feel like that's why I theorize a possible pole shift, because as Uranus moved into Taurus, this is where we really started talking about the poles shifting big time. And so I stated that I don't feel there's an immediate threat. However, I feel like the concept of that is coming when he moves into Gemini. So, one last thing that I want to disclose is solar flare activity. Okay, also increased in this period, and solar flares is, I feel, what's triggering the pole shifts or the disruptions on the Earth, the transformations. And so I feel like maybe a giant solar flare may come, at this point. But I feel like, quoting the band Rage Against the Machine, here come the people of the sun coming back around again. I feel like the people of the sun, the light angels, coming to collect those who are in higher light vibration. So it's nothing to fear. It's that walking into heaven that I feel the Bible is metaphorically trying to disclose to us. Is there anything else that I kind of wanted to share about this idea? Yeah, like I was saying about Pluto and the numbers 9-1 or 9-11, 10 is our center, 5 is the center of that, 5 is expression. It's expressing how we feel, hope versus fear, and whatnot. So I'm gonna stop the video here. I really feel like I got deeper into what I wanted to talk about in this video. So yeah, I just wish I could recall that one pattern that I was hoping to point out, or one aspect in that whole shift. Yeah, there's just too many freaking lines showing. It's cool though, like this Star of David, or no, the Star of David is a 6-pointed star. The 5-pointed star here on top of basically like a pyramid. Yeah. Anyways, so 2020 here is really that time in between the eclipses, and this is really the beginning of the end. The Mayans, or we disclosed it as the Mayans talking about it in December 21st of 2012. However, the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn happened on the 21st of 2020. And so really the whole apocalypse, coming from an old word that means the great unveiling, and 2020 being about referring to eyes and clarity. So this year is the lifting of the veil, starting to see things clearly, and the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning. No, the beginning of the end, because 2024 for 2025 is the end of the beginning, if that makes any sense. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Talk to you guys all again real soon. Bye now.